I was just
I
thinking
love
about Frank
Alfredo.
Lucas the other day too, man. Like Benny and Freddie got to get it together, man.
They sound so great together. They have two of rap's best voices.
I mean, I feel like whatever's going on, and it's turned into something else. Obviously, with the with the altercation and all that. I wish that it could have gotten to a place where they could just talk it out, man, and just work it out.
How about we could have skipped like all of the back and where the music at? Like y'all
I don't
robbing
think
each
we're gonna
other
get
and
no diss
throwing up like
records.
memes and stuff. It's like, no, I mean, hip hop was supposed to be here to make sure things like that didn't happen, to get it out, at least MC wise, on record.
Yeah, you're right. Both of them got skills, and they both should have been able to just put it on
Highly
wax.
skilled. So it's like, I think
Yeah.
we're missing like what's happened is that like we're actually missing a potential great rap battle because neither one of them are rapping about their issues with each other.
Rappers just don't want to battle no more, man. Game went out there, put it all on the table, and Eminem is still running. Eminem, listen, not only is Eminem running,
How do we go there?
not only is Eminem running from Game, but Eminem's actually at the Detroit Lions football practice. And now you got 50 Cent jumping in out of nowhere. Like, 50 had all this time, space, and energy to say anything about Game. Now you're throwing the Emmy in Game space, the Emmy for a Super Bowl halftime show. I don't think many people even knew that you could even get an Emmy for a Super Bowl halftime show.
I definitely was not privy to that.
My thing is, man, and I'm a 50 Cent fan and fan of his music, but I don't flossing awards around. I mean, that's really so not 50 Cent because in his musical career, he didn't win any awards. And the only Grammy he got was when he was attached to Dre and Eminem. Same thing with the Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's really not bragging rights. And I know people keep making the thing about, oh, Game was mad that he was left out, left out. Listen, anybody who feels like 50 Cent should have been performing at that Super Bowl halftime in California over the Game, you're not being real with yourself. To be perfectly honest, he should. I mean, he should have been performing over Kendrick. Carl King says Mike ain't letting this go. No, I'm not because we wouldn't let this go for anybody else. We would say everybody else is running. Now, when it comes to Marshall, we're like, oh well, Game lost anyway because he didn't respond. Why are we changing the rules for this guy? No, he lost. He got hit heavy with a very good diss record, and he's ducking and hiding because Game's not Fred Durst, Everlast, Mariah Carey, Nick Cannon, Britney Spears, NSYNC, a cannabis that was over in the Iraqi war. No, Benzino. The list goes on. So I never want to hear, and I'm going to say this again. I never want to hear, oh man, don't nobody want to with Eminem, man. He'll ruin careers. He's not ruining anything. I'm sorry,
Well,
that was
Mike,
a quick tangent, but yes, you're right. We're missing some dope back and forth between Freddie and Benny, and this could have stayed on wax.
no, definitely. That's where we're supposed to stay. And Mike, your rants are getting much more concise. I think you kept that about under 3 minutes. Pretty good.
I didn't
It's
want
pretty
to
good.
waste too much time on it, but I
No,
want
no, I
everybody to
appreciate that.
be
It's very
reminded.
concise. It was very concise. I timed you. I was like, oh, it's a little under 3 minutes for that rant. It's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
nice. I got to work on my shit.
I forgot MGK. I forgot him. He's in there too. Yeah, but he lost that one. So.
Oh, buddy. Tim Hardaway got in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's dope, man! Congratulations to Tim Hardaway,
He
man. He
made
should
All NBA
he should
five times.
he should have been in there, man.
That's what I'm saying. He made All
Trailblazer,
NBA 5 times. You know how many guys are walking around that haven't made All NBA 5 times that get treated like Hall of Fame?
right?
Uh-huh.
Interesting. I came across this video. I think it was Dwight Howard posted it or something. He was talking about, or he had like this visual where he was saying, they say I'm not top 75, but I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, him not being on the top 75 was a disservice to him
It's
because
a
I mean, if you just look at his
travesty.
accolades, if you just look at the resume says top 75 just for all the
It's
defensive player of the year
crazy.
awards, all the first, second, third team All NBAs, all the top 5 MVP voting finishes, all the All-Star teams leading the league in rebounding, season scoring over 20 points. Like, yeah, he checks all the boxes.
Specifically, if we want to talk about Anthony Davis making it.
He beat LeBron. in the playoffs, went to a finals and lost to Kobe. And to be honest with you, I think they could have won that finals had his coach not switched point guards.
Exactly. Because Rayford Austin, for the people who weren't there, Skip to
Skip
My
to
Lou
My
was working. And this ain't Jameer Nelson's fault because I like Jameer Nelson. I think he was the better player. But the fact of the matter is, this is the guy that got you there, and Jameer hadn't played all playoffs. And so you're switching up a whole lineup in the NBA Finals?
Yeah, he definitely one of the biggest miscues in finals history. Definitely against the wrong. And here's what I mean. Not only was it a miscue, but it's Kobe and Phil on the other side. It's like, what are you doing? Not to get slaughtered.
But again,
Kobe's killer.
For the people that weren't there, Dwight Howard was a monster, man. And Dwight Howard was winning. He was winning Defensive Player of the Year awards at will. He was winning rebound. I mean, he was rebounding like crazy at will. He was putting it back like, man, the way that they are disrespecting Dwight Howard's legacy, I don't understand it. Where do you think this comes from?
His attitude, his behavior, the childishness. I know. I didn't say it was fair. I'm just being honest.
But who has he offended with that?
I don't know. I think he's you know how some people just kind of rub people the wrong way, even though they've never really done anything to people. It's like, look at all the flack that Iverson got when he came in the league. You remember his rookie year with Barkley and stuff calling him the playground rookie of the year and stuff? He said that after Iverson literally had gotten 4 40-point games in like 5 nights.
Well, let's just call it.
At the end of the season, when rookies have hit the wall, you get what I'm saying?
Let's call it what it is. Where did that come
from? It's like, did you not just see him get 40 points? Like you're mad because he's breaking your rookie record. I was about to say, your franchise.
Let's call it what it is. They were hating and they were scared. And and I hate to say this because I think Shaq's one of the greats. And I've said on this show, I think that in a vacuum, I'm drafting Shaq over Michael Jordan. But no, I'm just saying, if we had an overall pick and I didn't know Michael Jordan was going to become Michael Jordan, and I got these players coming out of college, Jordan coming out of North Carolina, him coming out of LSU, yeah, I'm drafting Shaq. It is what it is. But
when
for whatever reason,
got done coaching Michael Jordan at the Olympics.
Yeah.
He literally told Portland, they're like, we got Clyde Drexler. He was like, draft Michael Jordan and play him at center.
What I was going to say is, man, Shaq, for whatever reason, he's always felt intimidated by people he shouldn't feel intimidated by. He clearly felt intimidated by Penny Hardaway. He felt intimidated by Kobe at a certain point, too. And for whatever reason, even after his career is like towards the end or done, it feels like he's been intimidated by Dwight Howard in his prime and just been hating on Dwight Howard since day one. I don't know if it's the Orlando thing. I don't know if it's the Superman thing. But I hate to say it like this. I think part of him not being on the top 75 has something to do with Shaq.
I don't agree with that. Okay. And to the Shaq thing, I think what happened with Penny, I mean, Shaq actually explained it once. He literally is like, well, Penny was kind of like Fredo, and Kobe was kind of like Sonny, and D Wade was kind of like Michael. And so it didn't really, I think that's pretty accurate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're like, what is Mike talking about? Is that Shaq loved Penny. Is that what y'all got? But yes, Shaq has always hated on Dwight Howard. Come on, man. I remember Dwight Howard went to L.A. He's like, I'm going to need Dwight Howard to average 28 and 15. I'm like, Shaq, you never did that. What are you talking about?
Did that in plenty of finals.
But I'm talking about the season.
Plenty of finals.
No, I'm talking about the season.
Finals number.
No, but I'm feel you. That's a series. He said the season. 82 games.
Well, here's the thing about it. And here's what I do hold against Dwight Howard. Well, when Shaq came into the league, he was immediately one of the top centers in the league, and David Robinson existed, Patrick Ewing existed, Hakeem Olajuwon existed, guys like Rick Smith and Arvydas Sabonis. Well, Arvydas wasn't there yet. Rick Smith was there and on his way. Like, you know what I'm saying? They were legitimate centers that Shaq came in that he had to play. A lot of those old school guys from the 80s were still like lingering around. He played a lot of those guys. at the tail end. He played in the old school NBA. Shaq did.
But
I feel
what
like
happened
missing
when
another great center too.
I was gonna say what happened with Patrick Ewing? I think you missed. What happened when Shaq started dominating? Those guys were gone.
David and
David
Akeem
was
were around, but they were
gone.
older.
They were gone. Shaq, all right. Shaq started dominating the league for real, from a championship standpoint in 2000.
Okay.
2000, right? Because he was always dominant. You know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. But here's the thing, like, but by '98, like Hakeem, David, and Patrick all were not the same player that they were.
No.
So Shaq was pretty much the best center from about '98 on. I feel you about the championship run, but pretty much like Hakeem stopped being Hakeem pretty much like that last year with Barkley and Pippen. Remember, that was like the last time you saw Hakeem. That was like 98.
That was 99. Yeah, so 98, 99 season, yeah.
Ewan wasn't the same even when they went to the finals in '99. That's what I'm saying. It's like, that guy was like, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. If Ewan
David Robinson was the second best player on the team for San Antonio.
And honestly, David Robinson also was coming off an injury as well. He was older and coming off an injury.
Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Akeem had already embarrassed him.
No, I feel you. You know, I saw a clip of Wilt Chamberlain talking about the centers in the league, you know, of the 90s. And he was saying that David Robinson seemed to choke under pressure. That was Wilt Chamberlain's assessment of David Robinson at the time while David Robinson was active.
It's got a lot of nerve saying that the way Russell whooped that ass, but okay.
Russell had a staff. We already covered this.
Man.
Russell had a lot of guys.
Wilt Chamberlain teams, he beat those Lakers teams like Wilt. Bill Russell's last ring is on that Wilt Lakers team, I believe. That's Jerry West and Wilt on the same team, which at the time means they had two of the 10 greatest players of all time playing on their team.
Is that the team where Jerry West won the MVP and they lost?
I think so.
Okay.
69. I think so. Yeah. Like, think about it. In 1969, Wilt and Jerry West are arguably two of the 5 greatest players ever, because it's probably going like this: Bill Russell, Oscar Robertson, Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor. 69.
I was going to ask you if you saw that top 5 athletes of an all-time list that's going around. I think it was on ESPN or whatever. Number 5 was Serena Williams. Number 4 was Tom Brady. Number 3 was Babe Ruth. Number 2 was Muhammad Ali, and number 1 was Michael Jordan.
What do you mean, athlete?
Athlete.
Well, I mean, if you mean, athlete's different than sports accomplishments. You feel what I'm saying? Because if you
mean athlete, you know, at the end of the day, and I know we've had this argument before too, where it's like, you know, well, Michael Vick's a better athlete than Tom Brady.
No, I mean like Bo Jackson, Jim Brown, Deion Sanders, people that like were like legendary. Like,
well, you're talking about athleticism. Sports. I think what they mean is just professional athlete. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Okay.
Because clearly, no one's gonna say Babe Ruth's a better athlete than Bo Jackson. Like, come on.
Well, first of all, I like that Serena's where she belongs. She belongs definitely in that spectrum. I would tell you.
What about Tiger Woods? You think Tiger Woods should be in there?
Yes, I would say Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Serena, Tom Brady. Is that 4?
No, that was 3. Ali?
Yeah, and Ali. Okay. Yeah. No, I said Serena. So no.
Okay.
Mike, Tiger, Serena, Ali. Yeah.
Yeah, man, Babe Ruth, in my opinion, and I'm a big baseball guy, I think that Babe Ruth, he didn't play against everybody, so I think he's disqualified. I mean, when you play a sport like baseball, and we see how dominant, you know, the Latin community is in baseball, he didn't have to play against black players or Latin players.
You better be happy the floodgates to Cuba and Dominican Republic
were open. I mean, so
a whole problem for everybody. No, listen, because let's be fair about it. Like, the Latino aspect of it would have been more problematic for the black players as well.
Well, that too. I mean, I think that the black players have kind of proven that, you know, it's kind of a balance there. But, you know, Alex Rodriguez is a beast, or was. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Albert Pujols. Incredible career. He's closing out his career right now. But, I mean, give me Barry Bonds and Ken Griffey over both of the guys. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, Josh Gibson, guys like that who were actually in Babe Ruth's era. And Babe Ruth didn't play against them just simply because of segregation. So I think that he's definitely disqualified, even though he was leaps and bounds better than everybody he did play against, but he didn't play against everybody. I think he's just out of the conversation. I think Barry Bonds has to be in there.
If we're talking top five, hold on. If we're talking top five, we can't put him ahead of Ali, Brady, Mike, Serena, or Tiger, just for one simple reason:
the winning.
No World Series.
I think baseball's different though, and let me explain why.
I love Barry.
I love Barry too.
I
see what you're saying.
He's the best baseball player ever. I'm
Hands down.
Say that until I'm old and yeah.
Well, this is the thing. This is what makes baseball different, though, Coop. It's like you can only do when you're in the field, you can only field what comes to you. When you're up to plate, you bat, and then 8 other guys go. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't control a game like a one-on-one sport, like especially what Ali's up against or what Serena and Tiger Woods are up against. These are individual sports. So we got 3 out of the 5 who would be in non-team sports. But so that already throws somebody like Barry off.
Football's a bigger team sport than baseball is. Carries a bigger roster too. That's why what Tom Brady does personally and team-wise trumps Barry Bonds. Because think about it, Tom Brady has matching personal accomplishments to Barry Bonds, and he's got 7 rings.
So what? You say you
put him in a category with Tom because that's not fair to Tom. That's not fair to Ali, who literally had to leave in his prime.
Yeah.
And give up his title and then come back in his prime and win and then lose it and then win it again at the end of his prime. It's not the same.
So hold on, you said baseball is a team sport. What did you say there?
No, I'm saying baseball is a team sport. That's football's a bigger team sport than baseball is.
Definitely.
Because here's what I'm saying. Like for baseball to work, even when Bonds lost to the Angels, quite frankly, because Dusty Baker made a couple of poor management decisions. Bonds was literally single-handedly carrying him to a World Series.
Baseball is an individual team sport. Because you can only do, when I get up to play, I can only do what I can do.
And how the quarterback gets highlighted. I mean, Mike, we just brought it up. Tom Brady has 3 MVPs, but he has 6 second-place finishes.
Tom Brady can go out there and... But cool. This is
Super
the
Bowl
difference.
MVPs. It's not fair to put Tom with Barry when Barry hasn't won anything in this sport.
Well, the difference between Tom and Jordan too, and Barry in their sports, they have the ball in their hands. You know what I'm saying? And not to mention, and this is the whole X factor that we're not even talking about. The times that Barry did get up the plate, they took the ball out of his hands.
No, I told you he's the best baseball player ever. I just don't know if a baseball player is going to crack a top 5 when people like Muhammad Ali, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan exist. That's all I'm saying. He might be 6 or 7. You feel what I'm saying? But not top 5.
Yeah, it's very hard because they took so many opportunities out of Barry's hands, even when you do have limited opportunities. In baseball.
I mean, if he would have gotten half of those bats back, Mike, he'd have like 1,000 home runs.
For real.
For real. No, for real. He'd have 1,000 home runs if he got half of those bats back.
It's very sad. Willow Weston with the super chat says, Busta has spoken. We have no culture. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to speak on this when we talk about Fat Joe hosting the BET Hip Hop Awards. Busta Rhymes owes everyone, well, not everyone, he owes Black America, and Americans, period, because he said America has no culture. He owes America an apology. He really does. You got your name from Chuck D, who got your name from a black football player. You got your... How many budgets did Busta Rhymes get from Jamaica? Did he sign a record deal in Jamaica? Is that what happened?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did he put out records from a Jamaican record label and get on a Jamaican rap city to sell his records?
Not that I'm privy to. No, that is incorrect.
It's disrespectful, man. Like, come on, man. At the end of the day, we know what it is. You can represent, but you don't have to put others down and disregard others and their accomplishments and what they created for you to be able to come in and make your livelihood to big up your own culture.
Excuse me.
You got your break on a hip hop album that is jazz influenced, the Low End Theory. You know where jazz comes from, right, Busta Rhymes? Do we not? I mean, is that no culture? Is jazz not enough culture for you?
I mean, I think this is a good way to just go into the whole fact that Fat Joe is hosting the.
We'll get into that. Okay, we'll go into that. Mad Max with the super chat
I mean,
says,
we might as well. I mean, since we're here, talking about culture and the Latino influence.
Yeah, since we're here. Well, yeah. Mad Max says Serena and Tiger Woods not top 5 over no Floyd Mayweather, 50-0, and never lost and beat the world champs. Changed boxing after Ali. I'm not mad at that.
Disrespect Ali and put Floyd in there with Ali either, because Ali actually fought Joe Frazier and Ken Norton and George Foreman and Sonny Liston. So fuck no. Good night.
So you wouldn't
I don't care nothing about no 50 and 0. We're not putting no Floyd and Muhammad Ali. That's two separate conversations. I don't even know if Floyd's a top 5 boxer all time. Even at 50 and 0, that's more about business decisions. Those are business decisions like a motherfucker.
You must feel like I feel. You don't think that a non-heavyweight boxer can be the greatest fighter ever?
No, I mean, Sugar Ray Robinson is probably a top 5 fighter of all time still, and he's a middleweight, if memory serves. So, no, I'm not saying that it's not a conversation, because if I'm not mistaken, even Muhammad Ali said Sugar Ray Robinson was the best boxer ever. Ali said he was the best heavyweight ever. So it's very to be a heavyweight, but I can't put him ahead of like Sugar. I don't know, man. Like Sugar Ray Leonard fought everybody.
Coop, he's 50-0. I mean, you're gonna have
Sugar Ray Leonard fought everybody. You see the guys that he fought? He fought Hagler, he fought Hearns, he fought Camacho. Like I'm talking about, like part of it is the competitive nature of it when it's a one-on-one sport. It's not just the fact of you winning; it is who you beat when it's one-on-one.
Who did Floyd not fight?
In their prime? Everybody.
Hey, so you think he got to everybody when they got washed up?
That's what I mean. It's like, no, I don't think you understand. George Foreman was Mike Tyson before Mike Tyson and was undefeated until rope-a-dope, including knocking Joe Frazier the fuck out.
No, that was the most incredible win ever. And I think people look at George Foreman as the grill guy. But George Foreman in his prime was a beast, beating people around the ring, beating Joe Frazier around the ring. The fact that Ali beat him.
He whooped Frazier in a way we had never seen Frazier whooped. And Frazier had fought Ali.
Twice. No, he whooped Frazier twice, right? Mr. Mark with the super chat says, Dwight.
The first one was a real ass whooping when he took the belt. I seen that fight. That was an ass whooping. You've never seen Joe Frazier done like that. George Foreman's a bad motherfucker.
Bad. Mr. Mark with the super chat says, Dwight never took the time to develop his offensive moves. That's what frustrated people the most. He was a baby hook and a 12-foot jumper from the best player for being the best player in the league. He was a 12-foot jumper from being the best player in the league. Listen, man, I don't think that he wasn't interested in developing an offensive game. And I know when he went to L.A. and he basically told Kareem, I'm good, I don't need your help, that rubbed people the wrong way as well. And I forgot about that. That probably kept him off the 75 also. I mean, you tell Kareem stuff like that.
That probably hurt more than Shaq did.
Yeah.
The whole Laker thing probably hurt more than the Shaq thing did, because you got to look at it.
Kobe.
Shaq's not a fan of yours.
Yeah, and Kobe wasn't a fan of his either.
Hold on. And then you got to look at how, like, the other guys who are centers that are in the Hall of Fame are looking at it, because you got to remember, he was in Houston. So it's like, well, you had access to Akeem. There's footage of Akeem working with you.
Yeah.
And now you got Kareem trying to work with you. It's like, well, I mean, it literally doesn't get any more fundamentally sound in the post than those two guys, unless you're talking Tim Duncan, Kevin McHale, is in like same level, same scale. So it's like you literally got two of the greatest ever. I mean, I think Hakeem's footwork is still the best footwork ever, him and Mike. And so it's like, it's the best footwork ever. And you're not like taking notes, like practicing. Like there, you see the video where Kobe's getting taught the dream shake, and it's like by the end of the session, he's picked it up.
Yeah. You know,
Like
and when you look at it though, Dwight Howard made it to the NBA Finals on raw ability. He clearly didn't work at certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mad Max of the Super Chat says Serena's not even the greatest tennis player. What do you say to that, Coop? I know you're a big tennis guy.
On what measure? Does he mean
does she deserve to be top 5 all time over Federer, Nadal?
Okay, so Federer has 20, Nadal has 22, Djokovic has 21, she has 23.
There it is. But one could say they all had to compete against each other.
Okay, so I've always said Nadal was the guy for that portion of it because he's the only guy that's been able to dominate one major while the other two were around. Like, he's owned them pretty much at the French. You know what I'm saying?
Nadal
He's
was
owned
always
everybody
my
at
favorite,
the French.
even before he won all of them. Like, when I remember watching him, like, wow, this dude is something else.
I mean, he's the only person that I've literally seen reduce Roger Federer to tears, like on a tennis court, like on the sideline. Like, that's how bad he was beating Roger at the French Open. And this is when Roger's at his peak.
Yeah.
And he's like lucky to get 1 or 2 service games off of Nadal when Nadal's in his prime on clay. So Nadal would be the guy. But what I would tell you is that Steffi Graf is the one that has the most resume argument to supplant Serena even over the guys, because she did have to deal with Chris Evert, Martina Navratilova, Monica Seles. Okay?
True.
She had the greatest tennis year ever, male or female, in 1988, where she won all 4 majors and the gold medal. Steffi.
KC1 says, how do you explain Barry's head size change? Stop denying his PED use. Well, this is how I explain it. You got pictures from when a person's 19 and when they're 40. I don't know how old you are, KC1, but take a picture of yourself at 19 and take a picture of yourself at 40 and see how different your head size is.
That's fair.
And as far as PEDs go, if you got that, you should have more evidence than a head size. Where's the blood test? We got over 100 people who tested positive for PEDs, and Barry Bonds isn't one of them. A-Rod's one of them. Jose Canseco's one of them. McGuire's one of them. Sosa's one of them. Clemens is one of them. Palmaro's one of them. I think that Jim Tomei is one of them, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So where's the positive test? Don't give me some head size. Did you go up there and measure Barry Bonds' head? Or are you looking at something on TV? Go ahead.
Well, and I'll tell you this. I think Serena and Steffi are the only players to have won 5 majors on all the surfaces, or it might still just be Steffi. But Steffi won 5+ majors on all the surfaces, meaning it's like where it didn't really matter where you go, she could whoop that ass.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You want her on clay, whoop that ass.
Yeah.
You want her on grass, whoop that ass. All right? Hard court, whoop that ass on hard court. And so that's what I mean. She has the best case because she has 22 majors. And if you want to say her competition was greater than Serena's, and she's only 1 major behind. Now, also, too, here's what you have to understand. The arrival of Serena and Venus and Martina Hingis is what made Steffi retire, because she realized that she wasn't about to win any more majors.
So
Serena also has that, too. You know what I mean? Like, and Steffi will tell you, it's like she's seen Serena and Venus come, and she was like, nope. Nope.
CJ Kid with the Super Chat says, love your show, guys. Would be cool to see you guys do a show with Dead End Hip Hop and PSA Hip Hop one day. Yeah, that'd be dope, man. Holler at them. Tell them to holler at us. We listen to the people.
We're for it. Let's actually get to some hip hop, though.
Okay, let me get through these Super Chats. Mad Max says, Floyd beat better comp than Ali beat. More world champs than anyone. So, Coop, you hating. Now, that part I disagree with, Mad Max. I do think that there is a argument for Floyd be top 5, but he didn't beat the guys that Ali beat.
Or fight the guys that Ali beat. That's what I'm saying. He fought Larry Holmes when Larry Holmes was like young and like great. He fought Ken Norton. Like, even the fights that he lost, that's what I'm saying. Ali never ducked anybody.
CJ Kidd says, who was stronger in their prime, Frazier or Tyson? I'll tell you this, Frazier fought tougher competition, but I'm going to have to go Tyson.
Frazier knocked Muhammad Ali to the canvas.
Yeah, I mean, Tyson didn't fight a Muhammad Ali. And honestly, I'm going to keep it real. It appeared, and it might not have been Tyson specifically, but the promoters, they were ducking Evander Holyfield.
No. That's documented now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nas the GOAT says, who was the better in their prime, Mayweather or Roy?
Roy.
CJ
No
the
question.
Kid says, Coop, how big is the gap between Akumenai and Moment of Truth? That is a funny question. I'm one of those people. He asked you.
It's not
I'm
as big
gonna
as
say
I thought it was as time has gone on. I was actually thinking Moment of Truth deserves some top 20-ish album consideration, like all time. That's how great it's aging.
I love Moment of Truth.
I
But
do.
I'm one of those people that feels like the gap between Akumenai and its peers is a large one.
Well, here's what I'll tell you is that, I mean, and sometimes this is what I mean. It's like those albums all got me through something. I was going through a lot at that time. And it's like you're at that point in your life where you're a young teenager, too. Those albums, I think they mean something to us for the time they came along in our lives, too, Mike. Like It's Dark and Hell is Hot, Aquemini, Moment of Truth. Like, we weren't like adults yet, but we were almost there. And so, like, things were changing for us. And it's like if you were going through anything personally, I think it's just about like what you related to. Like what I loved about Moment of Truth is how positive Guru was on there. Like I knew what Preem was going to do with the beats. It was like waking up and hearing stuff like Royalty and Work.
No, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? You know my steez, Mike. That's still my hashtag. That's still one of my favorite rap songs. I used to wake up to that stuff. It used to motivate me. It used to keep me going.
It was such a resurgence album for Gangstar too, because as funny as it may sound, in 1998 they were viewed as like some old niggas. Like they was viewed as like old school rappers.
And to be honest with you, they sound like a new group on this album.
Yeah, they
did. It doesn't sound like any of their previous stuff.
Yeah, they were reinvigorated, and the gap might not be as big as I once thought because, again, like you said, Akumenai was one of those records that was kind of coming of age for me, and there was a lot of sense of pride in it coming out of Atlanta, it being them. They had never made anything on this level before. Now, granted, we all like Southern Playalistic and ATLians, and those are classics.
They got close.
You think they got close? I'm gonna say this.
So I don't think.
I'm gonna say this. Speaking of gaps,
you think as highly of Southern Playalistic and ATLians as I do. I think you put. See, here's how I look at it. I look at it like steps on a ladder almost. Yeah. It's like ATLians, Southern Playalistic, Aquemini. You look at it like Aquemini.
And then Southern Playalistic, ATLians.
Right. It's like we got to get another ladder to get to your ladder for the separation between the Outkast.
Yeah, you want to talk about a gap.
It's just like a step or two.
You want to talk about a gap. For me, the gap is Akumenai and everything else Outkast did. And that's crazy to say because I think they have legitimately 3 classics and a possible. Yeah, a lot of people tell you Stankonia is a classic. A lot of people tell you The Love Below is a classic.
That's one of those things too, Mike. I'm down to pull Stankonia up because it's like, oh no, there's all types of classic stuff on there. You got to trim that fat a little bit. It should not have been 24 songs. It should have been about 18 or 19, and it would have been another classic. But that's what happens when John and Paul stop working together.
Well, let me ask people this, because you and I are on the same page on this, Coop, and not to veer too far off our subjects, because we're gonna get to the next subject. But let's be real. Stankonia is better than the Black Star album. And I'm talking about the debut album. It is.
That's what I mean when I say the Black Star album's not a classic. Exactly. You can compare it to stuff like this. Okay, so
it's not. Like, come on, man.
Again. It's not a classic. Just compare it to other groups' best stuff. It's like, well, Black Star's first album is not even in Southern Playalistic, ATLian, or Aquemini's league. So da-da-da-da-da. It's not in the low-end theory or Midnight Marauders League. Da-da-da-da-da. Illadelph Half-Life. Things Fall Apart. Da-da-da-da-da. You feel what I'm saying? It's just not. And so when we got to compare Stankonia to Black Star, it's like, well, you're making my point for me.
That's their 4th best album. For anybody who has followed Outkast, I think most people would say Stankonia is their 4th best. Most people will tell you it's not even a classic album. Some people will. But I will tell you this.
I think you got to be from down south and really love them to think Stankonia is just an outright classic. Because really, it's about a 4.5 at best.
That's being generous. And again. I
said at best.
Yeah. I would say this, man. That was the first Outkast album I ever skipped around songs.
Because it's long.
Even with that being said, it's much better than that Black Star album.
Like,
Come on, man.
how about this? Like,
Come on,
when
man.
Gasoline Dreams came on, I was like, oh, this ain't about to go as well because they tried to redo Chunky Fire to start off this album. It's not going well. They better fix this, and they fixed it. But then it starts the middle. It's just too separated. It's like, okay, it's like we're gonna do the Andre song now. Okay, bet.
Well,
we're
listen,
gonna do the
listen.
Big Boy song now. Bet.
Yeah. But even with that being said, Coop, Bombs
Like,
Over
We
Bad.
Love These Hoes. Is that an Andre song?
That's a Big
Hell
Boy
no.
song. Yeah,
Humble Mumble. Is that a Big Boy song?
that's Andre's song. Got Erica
See
on
what
there
I'm
too.
saying? Aren't those songs right next to each other on the album?
Yep.
Who the hell doing the sequence?
But you know what? Even with those,
They need an artist and repertoire. They need an
but see, I think that Stankonia, and I think that, from Bonds Over Bad Dad kind of being the door into that and the way that video was, I think it was chaotic by design.
No, I get the chaotic by design, but if you're going to make it work all the way. Like some of those records, like the Toilet Tissue, like you should have kept it.
I agree.
Some of the interludes, like the I'm Cool interlude before So Fresh, So Clean is funny. The rest of them, as much as I love I'll Call Before I Come, don't you feel like that's misplaced on the album and should have been pushed to the back had it been there? Because I feel like it kind of broke up some of the, I don't know, it just don't.
I think it was chaotic by design. You go Call Before I Come and then you go Bonds Over Baghdad.
That's what
You're
I'm saying.
being chaotic by
design.
design.
To Humble Mumble. And then you go into like another interlude and then the questions, that pour me a drink shit. It's like, no, you could have kept that and just got to the questions.
I think the evidence that they were being chaotic by design is the Love Below. You know what I mean? Like they know what they're doing.
You call it chaotic. I call it separated.
Yeah, it was separated and chaotic. But even with that being said, Spaghetti Junction.
Musically separated.
Spaghetti Junction. Black Star ain't got no song where they back and forth like that on Spaghetti Junction.
Here's what I'm saying. Okay, so here's the thing. You like Brown Skin Lady? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I mean, I love Slum Beautiful.
I was going to say, I'll throw Slum Beautiful against that easy. And that's not even a top 5 song on that album.
And think about it. Slum Beautiful isn't one of the best songs on Stankonia. It's not a top 5 song on Stankonia in my opinion, and I love Slum Beautiful.
It's not.
But it's not better than Gangsta Shit. It's not better than So Fresh, So Clean. It's not better than Humble Mumble. We Love These Hoes.
No.
It's not.
I think it's better than We Love These Hoes. It's not better than Bonds Over Bad Dad. It's not better than Spaghetti Junction. It's not.
Right. It's not. So what does that say when one of the best songs on Black Star's album, like that's a top 5 song on that album?
That's a top 3 song on that album.
And it's not even, and we can compare it to what's maybe a top 7 or 8 song at best on Outkast's 4th best album. It's like, that's why the album's not classic. And that's why I kept on saying it. And I was trying to say it nicely, like it's a really dope album. The same way Stankonia is a really dope album, but it's not even Stankonia.
Jay Short with the super chat says, why are we trying to reactivate making Fat Joe an icon? He was an average club rapper with one great album, some hits, and his flow changed after Pun died. You know what? We can explore that. Because I do want to talk about those things. Let me get through these super chats and we'll get right to it. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, if you had to rank the 3 bigs, Biggie, Pun, and Big L, based on lyrical ability, how would you rank them? For me, it's Biggie, Pun, Big L, just in that order. Andre Shashir with the super chat says, Coop, with the Woo shirt, went to the concert in Chicago and it was fire. Low lights, Nas only did one song combined from KD, KD2, and Magic. And Meth didn't show up because he was filming. Busta is a dope entertainer. We're going to talk about that today, too.
We're going to talk about all that.
I think Busta was his replacement.
And shout out to Dre. Hold on. I want to just pause right quick before you finish up the super pet. Andre has been following us since we were going on Instagram Live and Facebook Live.
Yeah,
shout out to Andre. Andre's not even one of the original 9,000 subscribers that we have on YouTube. He precedes even this channel existing on YouTube. So shout out to Dre.
We're about to hit 10,000, man. It's crazy.
It's a blessing. It really is,
man. You guys are great, man. I appreciate the fact that, we both appreciate the fact that y'all been telling y'all friends to jump in these conversations. I feel like, not to pat everybody's back or whatnot, but I think we're changing some things out here in the hip hop landscape. I think some people be listening, man.
I I feel just really blessed by the growth, Mike. I mean, look at how, I mean, we're going to be hitting 10,000 like very, very soon. And I mean, we pulled up here, I mean, literally about a year ago. It's not like we've been on YouTube for a long time. We've only been on YouTube for about 13 months, maybe
real.
14.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You're right.
So, I mean, super blessed, super fortunate, that's
Definitely.
all.
And we would like to thank everybody, man, and the
Grayson.
participation. Like, you guys make this show something different than any of these other hip hop shows out here, man. We're not just sitting here
It's
talking
the
and chopping.
people.
It's an open dialogue, man.
They challenge me. Like, I love it. It's like, no, I mean, because here's the thing about it. In order to challenge me, you have to care the way that I care.
Yeah.
You feel me? That means the people care. Like, they care enough about it the way that I do to challenge my thoughts, perspectives, and opinions. It means they care.
We all love hip hop.
That's what's special about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mad Max says, then why does boxing reference say that, well, Floyd beat the best competition and who Floyd ducked? Pacquiao, who was on PEDs, and Floyd was older than Floyd smoked canola too. Yeah, the Pacquiao thing.
Canelo wasn't in his prime yet, though. That was young Canelo. Canelo really hadn't become the fundamental boxer that he is now. That's what I'm saying. He got Canelo early.
KC1 says J. Ritter Damage's Sunrise in the East is better than the Black Star album. Woo!
Yes, it is.
It is what it is. KC Kid says both Outkast and Tribe have 6 albums. If you match the albums up against each other in order of release, who has the better discography? Man, I think the most difficult one is matching up Outkast's debut with Tribe's debut, and I love Tribe's debut, but I think that Cass got the debut argument. I think Tribe has the sophomore argument, and I think Cass has the third album argument.
Yeah.
But then Tribe keeps going. Mad Max says a lot of people just mad because Floyd was so much better than his competition that he made world champions look silly and went up mad divisions and never lost. I got to give him that, though. These guys that we thought would beat Floyd, it's like they get in the ring with him and they don't look like the same fighter for whatever reason.
He's the best defensive fighter ever. If you want to give him a moniker, he's definitely the best defensive tactician ever. But this is what I mean. It's like this. How can he be the greatest of all time when he doesn't even have like knockout power in a sport that quite frankly is a savage sport where part of it is trying to knock somebody out?
But the point of the sport is to get points and to, and not get hit.
I get all the technical tactician part of it.
I mean,
there's
Tony Gwynn, he did what he was supposed to do.
This is what I mean. There's something about the fact that Serena won a major with a kid in her belly. There's something about the fact that Tiger Woods won a major with a broken leg. There's something about the fact that Tom Brady was down 28-3 to the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, man, with the
There's
super chat.
There's something about the fact that Michael Jordan scored 38 points with food poisoning in Utah. There's something about Muhammad Ali having to take a 4-year break. Show me where Floyd belongs in the sentiment of these people with everything that I just said.
I think that's fair.
Good night.
Our man with the super chat says, is Goody Mob still standing better than Black Star's album? That was also released in 98. That's a good question.
That's a good question.
That is a very good question.
That's an excellent question.
The thing about it is we get so caught up in debut albums, and I know at least for me, when it comes to Goody Mob, I've said on the show over and over, Soul Food's the second best album to ever come out of this city, in my opinion. And I think Soul Food's so great that I sleep on the greatness of Still Standing as well. You know what I mean? And so, once again, with this Black Star album, it's the magic of a debut album. Not to mention, we never had anything to follow it up and compare it to. So it gets elevated because it's so isolated. I don't know if it's a better album than Still Standing. I'm leaning towards no. I'm thinking about Black Ice. I'm thinking about They Don't Dance No More. I'm thinking about the song with Cool Breeze, The Damn. I don't know, man.
Oh, let's hit the damn.
Yeah.
All the divas go chill.
Yeah, and I could put Brown Skin Lady and Beautiful Skin up against each other.
Actually, I think
Beautiful
I
Skin
think,
might be a
how
better
about
song.
this? Some Beautiful is comparable. I think Beautiful Skin is better
I think
than
so
Born
too.
Skin Lady.
I think so too.
Just me personally.
Now, I wouldn't be mad if somebody went the other
Because the
way.
hook is more personalized to the theme.
You're
Because
my
of
sister,
CeeLo.
loving friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got 9+ with the super chat says Respiration is better than any Outkast song. It's not better than Bonds of a Bad Day. It's not.
It's not
And
better
I'm
than
just going to keep it
Elevators
to
either.
Stankonia. I'm just going to keep it
It's
to
not better than
Stankonia. To say it's
Elevators. What are
better
you
than
talking
any
about?
Outkast song is ridiculous. But
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
just going to keep it
it's not better than
Stankonia.
Skew It on the Barbie, in my opinion.
Huh.
It's not better than Elevators. Like I can just go through the singles that it's not better than. It's not better than Southern Playlist of Cadillac Music.
It's not better than Benz or Beamer. It
It's
ain't better
definitely
than
not
Get
better
Up, Get
than
Out.
Benz or a Beamer. It's blasphemous.
It's not better than Get Up, Get Out.
It's definitely not. It's not. It's
CJ the
not.
Kid says, I'm going to stick to the topic next time. You guys are breezing through these questions like crazy. Yeah, no, it's all good. We're going to get to some more.